Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to ChriswithaC. Hope you're all doing well. Right guys, I haven't done much wrenching recently, have I? The FTX Zorro brushed was something that I wanted to start doing. We did take it out for his first run, and yeah, it pooped itself. So what I'm going to do in this video, hopefully anyway, is I bought a load of upgrades. I'll show them all to you in a moment. But we're actually going to try and make this a bit sturdier than what it actually turned out to be. Now, in here I've got Hobbywing 3652 3300 kV motor, the G2 variant, so that's the new one. And we've also got the BLX 100, and I was running on 3S. Now, whether I was a little bit optimistic, I don't know, you tell me. But the long and short of it, the idea was basically to, as I said, I was going to send it, and send it is what I did. I did send the car out full pelt, and I got to be honest, it was fun while it worked. Now, one of the little faults is drive shaft snapped, and I've been waiting for a drive shaft to turn up. I ordered it from a company, I'm not going to mention their names, it's not fair to them. But I ordered it from a company, it never ever turned up, despite them actually giving me tracking, so that's not really their fault. I'm going to blame Royal Mail for that. But what they did kindly do is give me the money back, and I've now ordered another drive shaft for it. In the meantime, I received a load of upgrades, and if you go back to one of the previous videos, I did actually show you all those as well. But I have received today now a carbon shock tower, and also what else? A carbon shock tower and a sway bar kit for it as well. But yeah, other than the motor upgrade and the ESC, I don't think I did anything else. I made sure the diffs are serviced, topped up the shocks. But as you can see, guys, I haven't even cleaned this one, so this is not like me at all. I think what I'm going to do now is quickly pause the video, all right? And then what we'll do is have a quick look at the parts, and then I'll chuck you on a time lapse while I'm doing it. So rather than keeping you waiting, and then I'll show you around the car after. Want to say a massive shout out to all the Panside RC guys. Just become an admin guys for him, so I'm quite chuffed for that. You know, a little bit of achievement, and thanks for trusting me to bring me on board. The other thing is, guys, is you will see more videos of me going out with them now recently as well, and you know, going up ramps and going for days out and stuff like that. Really cracking bunch of lads, very active RC club. I will put a link in the description for you as well, guys. And oh, the other thing, I got a little bracelet, so thank you Aaron's daughter for my bracelet. I do wear this every day, as you can see, Panside RC. So I'm really chuffed for that. Yeah, upgrade time. So I'm going to pause the video now, and then we'll start looking at the upgrades. Guys, so upgrades we've gone for. I went to town with this one actually. I thought, well, why not? At the end of the day, the car was cheap anyway. I think if you go back on the previous videos I mentioned, it was only 130 quid that was, so it actually made it one of the cheapest RCs and one of the best values in my opinion in the UK. Now, brush motor, it's not going to be fast. I think you're going to be lucky to probably maybe get 15, 20 mile an hour out of it. But there is quite a nice selection of upgrades you can get for this car. Now, some of which I've purchased, some of which have actually been given to me. So big shout out to Simon from SBRC on eBay. I'll put a link in description, guys. Sent me over a few bits as well. So first of all, as I mentioned, we've got a carbon chassis. All of these parts I've shown in previous videos. Metal motor mount. Now, to be aware, if you're going to follow this along at home, that's the 23 tooth. 23 tooth is what's actually in the car now, pinion wise we're talking about. And you do need a specific motor mount for it, so use that. Today came a carbon shock tower. Now, bearing in mind this part is for the Carnage, but Carnage, Outlaw and the Zorro all share the same chassis, so these parts will fit. We've got sway bars, basically to try and take out some of the torquiness, the chassis. What's the word for it? I can't think of the word. But basically, long short, is when you put the power on, because of the way the motor is, the chassis will turn. So that will help with that. I also got some metal gearing. Alright, spur gear and pinion. I think that's a 62 tooth. And if I remember rightly, I got Rue from RC's Adventures. Rue's RC's Adventures said that was a 23 tooth. I think it was actually, to be honest with you, but we're going to put those on. And Simon from SBRC, or Sibler, I can't pronounce it. Anyway, on eBay, he's one of the OG parts breakers, sent me over some rear links in aluminium, some rear stabilizer bars again in aluminium. I found out what that part was, guys. That's the Arrma steering Arrma. Way happy days. Some new wheel nuts, some front caster blocks, some wheel hexes, and also for the servo, guys, as I did mention previously, we're going to basically put a better metal geared servo in there, so that's a good thing. And that should actually stop the flex of the servo when I'm moving. Now, I have actually got a metal bar to go on there as well, basically to take some of that out. The steering Arrma itself, no, sorry, am I right in saying that? Servo saver, sorry. I think I ordered one of them. That hasn't come yet, actually. That's a good point. I might need to chase that up on eBay. Now, I am waiting for the drive shaft, but there is confirmation of it being sent, and I think it should be here either Tuesday or Wednesday. Bear in mind, it's bank holiday here in the UK. So all these parts are going to go on to... I'm giving him a name. We're going to call it a pig. The reason why we're going to call it a pig is because of its nature of needing upgrades, and basically, as a pig, I gave it a nickname, but I didn't really think about it. But anyway, this is the pig. Right guys, so as you can see, carbon chassis in. Simple pimple to do really. You just take the screws out and pop the other chassis back on. Alright, bit of a cheat. I didn't take all the parts off, I laid it upside down. But look, if it works, it works. I just got to go around now obviously and zip around all the screws, just make sure they're all in tight. I can't see them not be because obviously I've been using this. But looks very nice and shiny, doesn't it? I don't know how long it's going to be shiny for, mind, I'll be honest with you, but it's definitely shiny, so that's the main thing. Just need to put the receiver back in the receiver box, like so. So that's going to go in there in a moment. And then we'll crack on with the rest of it. So, hope you're enjoying it. Hopefully the pig will become, I don't know, much better than what it was. It's nice and cheap and easy upgrade, and fingers crossed I should have something decent out of it. So that's the main thing. Right, let's crack on. Right guys, so I'm just working on the steering, okay, and obviously I'm just going to change the Arrma over from the plastic one, as you can see, to the metal one. And I was just having a little think. Now I'm looking at the way the Arrma and everything works, and I noticed that there's some plastic bushings inside part of the steering, brass bushings. So as you can see, we've got a little brass, I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, little brass bushing. Alright, now I'm wondering whether I've got bearings instead. Now normally I do keep spare bearings in my toolbox, and if I can find the correct set of bearings to go in here, which looking at it I think I probably have, that's actually going to help the steering a hell of a lot as well. So let's have a look. I know I've got 1, 2, I need 3. No, so I haven't got 3. Bugger. Right, well I can use 2. 2's going to help. And what this will actually do, no, I don't have it. Or do I? Question. Right. No, let's just check. So what I'm looking at is replacing these little bearings, bushings with bearings, as you can see, same size. So if I pop one of them in the bottom of there, fits perfect. I need to get this one out as well. Now what I do think I'm going to replace this part with much smoother. Okay, so as you can see, we now got bearings in there instead, so that's a hell of a difference. Now bushings will technically last longer, alright, but they will slow down the left to right movement of the steering, so bonus. Just going to put it all back together again now, so I suppose really there is one bushing at the bottom here, and I'd like to swap that out if I can. Just drop my bloody screwdriver on the floor. Right, let's have a quick peek, shall we? Let's have a quick peek. So, as you can see at the bottom there? Now, I do believe there should be another bushing in there somewhere, but I'm not going to take that apart because I'm going to replace that. But have I got that bearing? Have I got that bearing is the question. Right, I can put you back on time lapse a sec while I'm just sorting all this out, but I think that goes like so. And there you go. Much better. See how free that movement is there? Let me show you. See the steering? So the quicker I can get that to move, the quicker the steering's going to move, and there's less resistance on the actual steering movement. So yeah, loads of little bits and bobs I didn't think I was going to look at. It's great. I love it. This is why I like doing stuff like this, is a challenge. So I've had a bit of a brainwave while I'm enjoying a nice little fizzy drink, and my brainwave is this. If I can take off enough material there, right, so I've actually got the bearing sitting over the steering Arrma there. As you can see, if I can take away enough material there, I could pop that bearing on top, and then that would sit on top of there, and everything would move a lot smoother. So the idea is, as you can see, got my Dremel. Sorry about that, guys, the camera died. Yeah, so got my Dremel, and if I could just take off enough material off the top of there, and just shave it down just a touch, so that actually sits on top of the bearing rather than the bearing sit inside, which is the same effect. All I need to do is create enough space for it to move about freely. So let's give it a go, shall we? Let's give it a go. So this is either going to go really good or really bad. Well, actually, I think it's gone really good. So this is a good thing. Right, let's clear off some of this material on the edge. And just need to make sure that's nice and flat. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oosh. I'll take a little bit more off, I think. Just make sure it's nice and flat. And I think we're good to go. So, as you can see, taking off a couple of millimetres off the top of that. And so this is now going to sit like so on top of there. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's exactly what we wanted. Right. Back to time lapse, see you in a bit. So I'm having a bit of a break. Was that even English? I'm having a bit of a break. My mind's blown. So this steering Arrma is, I wouldn't say giving me grief, but is, well, I've got to keep taking the front off basically. I think I've gone on the wrong way now. Oh God, honestly. Right, so I'm going to have to flip it around again. But remain positive. Remain positive is the key here. It's still enjoyable, this build. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still having fun. Is it a lot more than I anticipated? A little bit. Little bit in bits. That's only mainly because no one actually gives you the clue on what to do with certain upgrades, and the Arrma was not hard, but obviously I've now made modifications to the steering, so I need to get it to all work properly again, which I will, I know I will, but it's still hard trying to work out how to do it. I've also realised I've got some screws on the wrong way by there, just looking at it there now. But it is what it is, guys. We're getting there. That's the main thing. Progress is good. We still got loads to do. But I'm all right. I'm good. I'm enjoying myself here. So I'm going to have a little puff, have a 5-minute break while I just think things through. And then, yeah, I think what I'll do then is maybe work on the gearing. Get the motor mount in as well. Probably the sway bars, I'd imagine, would have to go in then. Just looking at it, yeah. And then we'll work on the cast hubs and everything else then. But so far, so good. That's the main thing. Right, so what I did off camera was basically, it turns out that where I'd done the modification on the steering, the right hand side of the Arrma where you got the servo saver, I hadn't taken enough material away. Now bearing in mind, like I said, I put a ball bearing underneath it just to aid with the movement. So what was happening was, if you could imagine your steering, the Arrma's meant to be flat, and it was like this, and it was catching on one side. So I've now done that and everything seems to work good, so that's good. I think what I'll do now is, I've got these, so that will improve the steering, but while I'm doing that I may as well swap the servo as well. So a metal geared servo, so I've got one of those here, and then I may as well crack on with the gearbox as well. So yeah, it's going well. Let's crack back on. Right, okay, so off camera, my wife came home, so obviously I stopped the camera and said hello and that sort of thing. And one thing to mention, what I've actually done here is swapped out the standard servo. I had a HPI servo from the Jump Shot. Now it's not metal geared, but it is quite fast. As you can see, as well as the speed there, and it seems quite powerful, so I'm going to use that for the moment, see how I get on. I did, not going to lie to you, I had a bit of a pig with the Arrma, trying to get that to actually work correctly. Seems to be right now. I think what I'll do now is crack on with the, what am I going to crack on with, was probably the motor mount and the gearing. The front end's near enough done now, I think, apart from the caster hubs and wheel nuts and hexes, but that's easy peasy. You can do that when all this is sewn back up. But yeah, so far, as you can see, the steering, I've centered all that up nicely. As I say, what we did do is swap the bushings for actual bearings, so that will definitely speed up the steering. Yeah, so back onto time lapse, and then I'll crack on with the gearing and go from there. But trying to remember where all these bloody screws go is hard work as well. I was going to change it for a metal servo horn as well, but it seems like the ones that I've got are actually a little bit too long, and they'll end up catching on the receiver box here. So I did have a shorter one, but I got a feeling I've used it for something else. Right guys, so we got the car back together again. This is where I'm going to call it quits for today. But what have we done so far? So we've carbon fibre chassis, carbon fibre shock tower, we've anodized metal servo mount, and also upgraded the servo with the HPI one. Metal motor mount. Now I've also upgraded the pinion gear to a toughened pinion gear. There was a brass one that came with this, so obviously I want some longevity. Now, bit of bad news though, I did notice that this metal gear that they've supplied me doesn't actually fit this car. So I'm gonna message eBay seller and see what he's got to say. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Oh, steering Arrma as well. This is going to be well overkill for what it is. I've just tried it on 3S, and just to kind of give you a rough guess of what the sort of wheel speed we're going to be getting with this, I'll give you an idea now. Now, bearing in mind, I haven't got the drive shaft connected to the back, and that's because we're still waiting for it. But this will give you an idea now. All right, so the steering, much faster, much more precise, as you can see, and also wheel speed. Ready? So I think this is a bit overkill, really. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. As we do on the channel, everything is upgrade everything. Right guys, welcome back. Obviously day 2 of the build, codename Pig. Had a late one last night, as you can see, shaved head, beard's all done. Worked until the early hours of the morning. We've only got a few bits left to do now. I'm still waiting on drive shaft. It is bank holiday Sunday, so I want to sew up the bits that I've got, and then when the drive shaft goes in, fingers crossed, we should be all right. But yeah, it's been a bit challenging in places, but like I said to you in a previous part of the video, is the only reason why they've been challenging is because I've kind of modified bits and bobs, which, as you know, if you watch the channel on a regular basis, that's something I do like to do. Make things my own, and if I see something where I can improve it, well, I'm going to have a go at doing it. If not, I'll end up ordering parts. So, but all I've got left now is the front caster hubs, as you can see. We've got the rear torsion bars that lead towards the back here, so they're being replaced. Rear trailing arms, as you can see, the plastic on here at the moment, so we're going to put the metal ones in. That's easy peasy, 2 screws. Some wheel nuts, just for the hell of it. Some hexes, and obviously we got the sway bars. So I'm going to crack on now. We're not going to do much more talking. I'm going to do what we did earlier. I'll put you on a time lapse, so you'll be able to see obviously everything being done, and you're not sat there being bored. Listen to a bit of music, job done. Thanks for sticking with the video so far, so let's go. Right, so that is the back of the car all sewn up, as you can see. So we replaced the trailing arms to these lovely anodized metal ones, and also this stabilizer bar that goes across the back. Plus I fitted the rear hexes and obviously the new wheel nuts. So that should actually, when I add the sway bar on the rear, that's actually going to stiffen up the back a fair bit. If I add possibly, I think it's 500 in there now, so if I go for 600 weight oil, I think we're going to be in the running here, guys. One thing I've noticed by there is there's a plastic catch for obviously these stabilizer bars to go across. I think you can probably buy that part. When I've looked at it, it's not expensive. It's about £6, so I might order that because I got a feeling that's going to become the weak point in all of this. Basically, you've got metal obviously joining it, and any forces then are going to be pushed back through this piece of plastic. So it's only a cheap little upgrade, that one, so I might add it on the car. Right, so onto the front now, guys. I'm obviously not going to waste any time or more of your time, so move on to the front. We have got the front caster hubs left and the sway bars, and that is it. Literally, we're all done then. And then I can enjoy a cheeky beer and sit down with the family. But I hope you're enjoying the video. Let's move on. Right guys, so I've fitted the front caster hubs, and a couple of things to mention here because I'm going to have to put them right a second. But if you're using metal into metal, e.g. so you got a metal hex screw going into one of these alley upgrades, make sure you're using a good quality Loctite. Now this one I've come across recently, Loctite 248, it comes in this like prick stick kind of tube. Makes wrenching a lot easier and a lot less messier when it comes to metal joints, that sort of thing. Really can recommend that. It's good stuff. The other thing, mind, is if you remember earlier on in the video, I said the problem is with upgrades is no one actually tells you how to install them. If you actually look at the front of the car there, I think I've got the caster hubs on back to front. It's a simple fix. All I gotta do is swap them from left to right. But the car has actually got like a negative camber now on the front, which really speaking it doesn't need, because by the time you sort of depress the suspension, or compress I should say, see the way the suspension goes in a funny angle. So what I need to do now quickly, I'm going to do it off camera, is swap the left hand side to the right and the right to the left. I'll do that quickly. I'll come back in a sec. Right guys, so on the front of the car up. Now I think what I'm gonna have to do is adjust these turnbuckles, because they do seem still slightly off, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is add a bit more camber on the front and a bit more negative toe on the front as well. But yeah, okay, so that's that. All that's left now is literally this sway bar, and that should take not long at all, to be honest with you. But so far so good. It's been a bit of a learning curve, because as I said, the problem being here is no one gives you instructions to which way these upgrades go in. You get given a bag with a load of parts and then obviously wing it as you go along. There is no manual for it. So I would say if you're going to do it, take your time. It's definitely something that's worth doing if you're into this sort of thing. As you know, everything I do on the channel, I upgrade absolutely everything, and so for me it's definitely worth it. Others might maybe not so, all right. And I suppose again it does depend where the parts are coming from as well. So some manufacturers will list parts for each vehicle, upgrade parts, but then obviously any aftermarket parts, some will send instructions for it, but others won't. But I'm going to carry on now, get the sway bars on and go from there, and fingers crossed I can show you the final result and go from... We should be on a home running now, really, I think. So... Right, okay, so this is basically the end. The only thing I've got left to do is the drive shaft, so fingers crossed that's going to come maybe, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday. It is bank holiday, so I expect the post to be a bit delayed. But as you can see, I've got the sway bar on the front. I've also installed, what we installed altogether is the question, steering Arrma, sway bar. We've got the carbon fibre chassis, as you can see. We've got the anodized steering servo mount, as well as an upgraded servo in there. BLX 100 ESC, Hobby Wing Easy Run G2 3652 3300 kV motor. We've got the blue anodized rear trailing arms. We've got the blue anodized rear, what are they called? They're like torsion bars, basically, on the back. Alloy hubs, and, well, I say caster hubs, all right? So I don't know whether the camera can pick that up by there. Aluminium, blue aluminium wheel hexes as well. I think they're slightly larger by 10 mil. So that'll actually give the car a little bit more stability as well. I'm trying to think what else, actually, to be honest with you. Not a great deal. Carbon fibre shock tower at the front as well. So yeah, and the good thing is about all this, guys, these upgrades have hardly cost anything. Granted, now I was lucky enough, and again thank you to Simon from SBRC for sending over a lot of these upgrades. But I think the whole point to this video is, guys, and the whole point to this car and what I've done on the channel is, don't be afraid to upgrade. At the end of the day, if you're invested in something and you feel that it's worth doing, despite what other people may tell you, if you feel it's something that you want to do, go ahead and do it. Don't be afraid to wrench on your cars. I know a lot of people don't like wrenching on their vehicles. Just, it's a good way of learning the platform that you've invested in. You'll get to know there's little nuances and caveats and things that may need changing. E.g. for me, like this, the steering, the servo saver and everything. It was using brass bushings, so I put some bearings in there, just a little bit of adjustment with a Dremel, that sort of thing, and we've got the steering all nice and quick. It's all part and parcel of the hobby, and for me, wrenching is just as much a part of the hobby, as you know, as the rest of it. I mean, at the end of the day, I get as much enjoyment doing this as I do running the cars, and just some do, some don't. It's just part of enjoying Mind the dog, guys. She's an absolute pain in the backside. It's just part and parcel of the hobby itself, and I enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Massive shout out, as I mentioned, to all the Pantside RC guys. Thanks to Paul Fryer for all the information, and Rue from Rue's RC's Adventures as well, with all the upgrades. Guys, your knowledge on this platform, e.g. Carnage, Zorro, Outback, has been invaluable. I would recommend, obviously, going to check out those guys. I know Rue has got a YouTube channel. If you want to go and check them out, guys, I will put a link in the description, along with SBRC on eBay. And just enjoy yourself, have fun. Like I say, what I'm going to do is fit the dry shaft. I will do a quick little update video on that at some point, and then fingers crossed we can actually get out and run it and see how much of a difference it's actually made. But it's a weird one, this, because I have only really run this car once, and it was for a very limited amount of time, and I did have a lot of fun with it. But the main fun I've had from this vehicle so far is actually wrenching on it. So yeah, it's enjoyable. Trophy trucks are fun. You get that kind of, what's the word for it, signature twist in the vehicle as they're accelerating. So I quite like that as it was going across the grass, and I want to see more of it. I'm going to be using this for light bashing. This isn't a big basher like the type of trucks I sent off the side of ramps and that sort of thing. Oh, another thing, guys, I have got an update on the Outcast to do as well. I've got a Kimbrough server saver and an upgraded servo to go in there, so I will do a video on that. But until next time, make sure you check the box for more videos, and stay awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.